Today's guest on the podcast is one of the youngest upperclassmen at the Division III level. In his junior year at Babson College, the 99 spent 3 years at Woodstock Academy, where he totaled 225 points in 69 total games before spending his PG year just down the road from me at the Winchendon School, collecting 63 points in 1 year. From Babson College and Pomfret, Connecticut, welcome to the pod, Ryan Black. Ryan, how's it going, boss?
Good. How are you? Happy to be on. Excited to talk with you.
I said to you before we got going, I look for the things that set kids apart, and the fact that you're a 99 is unbelievable. I mean, I'm a 2000. I'm 1 year younger than you, and I could technically go and play junior hockey over in the playoffs if I wanted to. I mean, obviously I'm not. I'm up at school, but it's just the fact that you're so young. You're one of the best Division III college hockey players in the country is unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, it's unique to see when coming in. There's a group of our grade is I'm one of 13 in our freshman when I was a freshman at Babson, and it was unique to see that we had a good mix between 99, 98s, and then even some 97s as well. So it's different being a little bit younger, but I've embraced it.
It's something you don't typically see at the Division III level. A lot of these kids that come in playing young college hockey, they're those D1 guys that are expecting to go get drafted, like the Jack Eichels, right? The BU guys, BC guys. But Babson, you guys are pretty much a Division I hockey program, especially with some of the competition you play against with like Norwich and some of those teams up there that you get to see on a nightly basis. And you guys top 10 in the country last year, ending off the year. I mentioned 30 years, something like that, with less than 5 losses in a season. It's unbelievable. We're gonna go back in time a little bit. We're gonna talk about high school days, and you played the majority of your high school hockey career at the Woodstock Academy in Connecticut, and you're actually from Pomfret, Connecticut, where the Pomfret School is at. So, what kind of pushed you? And it might have been your parents' decision at that age. You're like 14 years old, 15 years old, but what kind of pushed you going to Woodstock?
So my freshman year, I actually did go to Pomfret School. However, I was younger then, and I was still underdeveloped. Like I hadn't really grown or hit that spurt yet. And so I kind of realized after my freshman year that Pomfret necessarily wasn't the spot for me. I didn't know if that would really help me develop that much. And so all my buddies kind of convinced me, and my parents, we all talked about it. And I was like, yeah, I'll head over to Woodstock. And it was unbelievable decision. It was some of the most fun years of my life. Like senior year, last game, me and my best friends, we won state championship. So it was just something that playing at Woodstock, you had the whole town support, you had the fans there all the time, and it was just playing high school hockey that really for your hometown really is it's so unique, and there's nothing like it.
And I was going to ask you, like, what was Woodstock like? Everybody has their different experiences playing prep school hockey. And I think that, I mean, you just answered that question perfectly. It was an unreal situation. You were right where you wanted to be. In your first year, you were, I believe, over a point per game, well over a point per game. And then your second year, you had 96 points in 23 games. What kind of happened during that off season between your sophomore and junior year?
I just feel like I kind of hit that spurt that I'm a late bloomer for sure. I didn't really start growing or developing until sophomore, junior year of high school. And so that I feel like that kind of hit in the summer leading into my junior year. And from there, we had a younger team. After my sophomore year going into my junior year, we were older, a little bit older. So we had experience. And I feel like myself and playing with a couple of friends and like our same line was together and all that, I feel like not only with myself growing and stuff, but I grew confidence as well, which I think it led me personally to take a jump, but our team, we took a big jump as well, where I think we were 14th in the state my sophomore year. We had an upset over the 3 seed. And then second year, I think we were 20-3. We finished second, lost in the state semifinals. So I think it was just more of our team developing and then myself as a person and individual developing as well.
I was literally just talking last night. So I record the episodes every Tuesday night. And I was talking about the parity. All the games that I was talking about going over, like the recent week's results, they're all split 1-1. And there's a game, I think it's Adrian playing Lake Forest this weekend. It's the 5 seed going against the 11 seed, or 5th ranked going against the 11th ranked. You don't know who's going to win. Parity is unbelievable. You just mentioned the upset you had that year. I mean, that's pretty sick. And then you come back your senior year, you get the C on your chest playing high school hockey. What was that like being recognized as one of the leaders on your team?
It was definitely a surreal feeling. Just getting recognized by my teammates and coaches, myself, along with two of my best buddies who are both playing college hockey now. We were the captains, and it was kind of just like we had a heartbreaking loss in junior year. We lost in overtime of the state semifinals, and three of us kind of got together as captains, and we were like, "Hey, we know we had the possibility, we know we had the chance last year. Why not?" Like he's like, that's our goal this year is we're gonna go after it all, and kind of we're the older guys. We have some younger kids coming in, freshmen and sophomores who might not have had that experience, and they're gonna look up to us. So it was just a surreal feeling. And then that whole year was just remarkable. The whole year, I think we were 11-0. We were Division 3 high school hockey team in Connecticut, but we played Division 2 teams. We upset the Division 1 team in our conference, and it was just unbelievable. I think lost 2 games. One was the last game of the year that was kind of the regular season that wasn't as meaningful, but it was just a magical run. And then we won our conference tournament against it was a Suffield, who was a top 10 Division 1 team. That was unbelievable as well. And then we carried that into the playoffs where things just went our way, and our success continued over.
That's unreal. And so obviously you just win a championship with Woodstock. You move over, you do your PG year at Winchendon, a small school, a very small school, sick rink though. I like it. Been there a bunch of times. What kind of drove your decision to come up to wicked northern Massachusetts,
Yeah.
very far away from Woodstock for your PG year?
Yeah. So I, growing up, I played for the Providence Capitals as just my whole youth team growing up. And a bunch of my old teammates had been up there. Matt Fawcett, Ben Thomas, Mike Hardman, a bunch of them were up there at the time. And we were kind of talking with Dan Fawcett and just those guys, and they were saying like, "Hey, you should try to maybe do a PG year up here," because before they had all gone up there, I had never really heard of Winchendon. And so Greg Thomas, Dan Fawcett, they were kind of like talking to my parents and stuff. And then I reached out to Coach Sampson, and I didn't really get that much interest from prep school coaches, and he was kind of one of the only ones who really gave me the time of day. And so from there, I kind of took it and just applied, waited to see. I didn't really know if I was 100% set on that. And then as the year at Woodstock went on, and then I was touring up there, talking to all my old buddies, it was kind of, once I finished the season and had to make a decision, it was kind of a no-brainer to go up there. And it was very fortunate for the people who not only helped me get there, but for also Coach Sampson and everyone up at Winchendon who gave me the chance.
I mean, what a chance to get given. You had 63 points in a single season. I mean, that's pretty unbelievable. Go out with a bang, right?
Yeah, I was fortunate. I played with Matt Fawcett, who's at Quinnipiac now, and Cam Gendron, who's at UNH. So we played together as a line throughout the whole year, and it was just unbelievable chemistry, one of the best lines I've been on. And it was just, our team itself we were an older team, and I think we had 13 or 14 seniors / PGs, and they kind of just embraced myself and the other older guys who came in with open arms. And that was just why we were so successful. It was nothing was personal. Like our team, we just played for each other. I remember I toured Babson, and I was texting with Matty Fawcett, and he was like, "Hey, let's rip it up this year. Like, let's go." He's like, "You deserve it." He's like, "Let's try to get you there." And same with everyone else. I remember James Corcoran, who's at Merrimack now, he toured there, and we were like, "Hey, we'll play well in front of you. If coaches come to the game, like, we're playing for you. We're playing so you guys can get to that next level." And it was just, we played for one another, and that was just what made the year so much better, because we were such close bonded group, which is why we're so successful.
That's unbelievable. And you mentioned, so you toured Babson before your first game at Winchendon. what was it like? Because like we mentioned, a lot of the kids at this level, they don't play D3 hockey so young, and all these names are dropping. These D1 hockey players you played with, they all went. Obviously, they went kind of to college right away. What was it like getting scouted by the college teams? Were you getting looked at by those same Division 1 programs and higher tier Division 3 programs at the same time?
So for me, it felt different since like I said, I played Division 3 high school hockey. So I kind of went into that year as like, I'd love to just play college hockey, to play college hockey, or Division 3 high school hockey. And then I went into my year at Winch with a mindset that I'd love to play college hockey. I even in the fall, I even looked at and talked to like club coaches just because I didn't really know what was to come. And then my fall I spent reaching out to a ton of coaches, Division 3 coaches, playing in half season with the Eastern Mass Senators. And from there, I kind of just let it all unfold. And so my year at Winch, we were really successful, and I found personal success as well, which was nice. And I started getting more interest from Division 3 schools and not really that much Division 1 schools. And so for me, that was unbelievable. Because like I said, my mindset was really, I've played Division 3 high school hockey. It's just a step. Hopefully I can get to that next level. And so I didn't really see too much interest from Division 1 schools at the time. And it was more just looking Division 3 at that point.
And so obviously the goal ultimately is playing college hockey. Were you always set on going straight to college from high school, or were there some moments where you thought about playing like in the NAW or playing, Eastern Hockey League, USPHL, stuff like that?
Yeah, I had always, that was kind of my goal. I'm more academic, like I'm very academic oriented as well, like the aspect of school, where at Winchin, I was kind of always like, I don't necessarily really want to play juniors. So if I could get into a great academic school that would fit what I want to do in my career and go right in and play, then it'd be a home run. And that was kind of when Babson came along. And because I'm very business oriented, and with it being one of the top business schools in the country, once I found that I had the opportunity to play there, it was just a no-brainer where I wanted to come here, and it just fit every aspect that I wanted.
And it's an unbelievable campus. I'm looking at pictures. You see me looking down at my iPad. I'm looking at like the stats and pictures, right? Every time you say something, it sparks another question in my mind. So I got to look it up. And the campus is beautiful. It's an unreal spot. Definitely a nice place to spend 4 years. But I got to switch back to my other tab with my questions.
No, you're good. It is. The campus is stunning. Even I didn't even realize when I toured here as how nice it really is until I started living here. And it's a perfect spot to go to school.
And so you get there for your freshman year, and obviously the team has had success all along throughout its history. But what was it like coming in as a freshman? Were you seeing that really good amount of playing time as a 99, or was it where you kind of had the first half of the season you had to kind of get into the flow of things?
I think I was fortunate when the timing I came in, like I mentioned earlier, I was with 13 in our freshman class. So Coach Rice he gives everyone, what's very nice, he gives everyone an equal opportunity from the start of the year. He said, no matter freshman, senior, you have a chance to earn your spot. And so, like I said, being one of 13, it was nice because we came in we didn't know, we were freshmen. We didn't really know that much. So we just gave it our all and played as hard as we can in practice. And from there, it was fortunate I started playing in the top end, like top 6 as the starter freshman. And I was just fortunate that I was able to have some success in the fall and spring of freshman year and just kind of continue that.
I mean, 25 total points in 27 games, really not a bad freshman year. You come back the next year, your sophomore year in college, 32 points in 26 games. You finish as a top 50 player at the Division 3 level. Is that something that you kept an eye on during that year with your total points going up? Or is it something where it's just in the back of your mind, you don't really care about that?
Yeah, it was more in the back of my mind. We started off, it was more just looking at whatever is going to get our team to win. We started off the year with a loss against Curry at home. And then I think we were 2-3 starting off the year, and with an overtime win at Castleton. And then we were just kind of like, we know we're better than this. We've got to kind of perform up to our abilities. And then we ended up going on our team ended up going on a 15-game unbeaten streak throughout from November through February. And so that was kind of just, hopefully it was never about how many points I was getting or anything. It was just hoping that anything to do to keep this run, keep this streak that we had going. And I think I was fortunate being able to play with such my line mates, Nick Rosa and Mike Egan, who I played with my freshman year as well. I think it helps when you play as a line together for 2 years, because you build that chemistry. And then it's just whatever, points totaled up and it just happened to be at that number. It was fortunate. I was happy with myself, but it was more about our team's performance. Making the tournament for the first time in 7 years was more important to me.
And so you mentioned that big unbeaten streak. You guys have had a bunch of them since you got there, those 2 years, including the 4 games you guys have had this year. You're 39-5-13. So very good hockey, lots of wins piling up in the win column. Are the boys just perennial, just buzzing around, just having a good time doing their thing?
Yeah, I think at Babson, our coach Rice has a standard, and he has a culture of the program that it's high caliber, which is why I think we're so successful, because everyone comes in and everyone buys in. And you play, like I mentioned before, you play for each other and you play for the program, you play for the guys who came before you. And I think that's what leads to success, because we're all so close. Our team, like, we're all great friends. Everyone enjoys going down to the rink every day is something that we all look forward to, and being on the ice together. And I think that translates to performance on the ice, because if you've got a team that's kind of just all about yourself, all about individual characteristics and individual awards, that we wouldn't be as successful. But that's something you learn when you're a freshman, that's not the culture here at Babson, and I wouldn't want it any other way. And I think it's why we are so successful as a program from top to bottom.
And so you mentioned your head coach, Jamie Rice. He graduated from Babson in 1990. He's been coaching there for 16, 17 years. What's it like playing for one of the best coaches in Division III hockey?
Yeah, I feel very fortunate that I was able to, especially not only come to Babson, but play for such a well-renowned coach. And I love Coach Rice. He can get on, can be tough to play for at times. He definitely can get on guys, but he's only doing it to make you better as a player and better as a person. And I think we're all very fortunate, and the college is very fortunate that he's been here for so long.
And so obviously you mentioned making that tournament was for the first time in 7 years was that was priority number one for you guys last year. COVID comes in, shuts down the tournament, shuts down all of college athletics. What was that like for you guys over at Babson?
It was tough. We were in a unique situation. So we have our NEHC tournament before all that, and since we had such a successful season, we were second seed. And so we definitely thought we had a run to maybe win it all with the success that we had. And we ended up getting upset by Southern Maine in the quarterfinals, first round as the 7th seed. So we packed it up after we thought we were done. Then the week later, we saw teams kind of falling and more upsets happening. And going off the pairwise rankings, we knew that we had to have a certain amount of teams win in order to get in. And so then the following Saturday it happened, and we were like stoked, because we hadn't really been practicing. We had a couple captains practices together that week before, but honestly, we thought we were done. And then Monday selection show came around and we got in, and not only that we were in, but we were hosting Wesleyan, and the practices Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday before it got canceled were maybe some of the best practices I've had at Babson. We were just so fired up that we got another chance. And then it was just crushing once you find out that it wasn't going to happen. We kind of could see it coming that way, but you can never really embraced for it until it actually happened. We were hoping maybe we could get the first game in, maybe we could slip through that and see what happened, but it was tough. It was definitely disappointing, as just because we were so fired up that we got another shot, and we definitely did think that we could make a little run, as we had success throughout the year as well.
And so you mentioned you guys were going to be hosting Wesleyan in that first round. What's the atmosphere like? So I looked at the rink, very small rink, not a ton of space for fans, but small school, very good hockey program. I've got to assume it's packed every night.
Yeah, some nights aren't as packed as others, but I will say when we play the top dogs, like we played Norwich last year, they were number one. We were in the country. We were number 6 or 7, and the place was packed. Probably the most packed game I've played at Babson so far. But when we played Norwich, Hobart, the other top teams, it definitely fans come in and gets packed. And I know if fans would have been allowed, and if we were able to play that game, that probably would have been the most packed I had played. Just like I said, it's been 7 years since the Babson had made the tournament, and I just know everyone around campus. We had guys on the baseball team, guys throughout campus, alums all texting us, fired up, ready to go. So I definitely think the atmosphere would have been something beneficial for us at the game.
Are you one of the guys that like feeds off that energy? Like you're whipping around in warm-ups?
Yeah, 100%. Oh yeah, I was, and when I was at Woodstock in high school, I'd love a big crowd. I'd honestly love when other fans would kind of get onto us and stuff, because then it's a little prove you wrong. Like you guys are chirping us, but then we'll go out and beat you. So that's definitely something that fires me up a little bit.
That's, I mean, there's no better feeling than scoring a goal and all of a sudden it's just like screaming. You got everyone looking at
it's awesome.
It's
It's definitely something that I love being a part of.
And I mean, that's exactly what you get at Babson, I guess, right? With a big hockey culture. But so you guys go home. Obviously, the tournament's canceled. Off season, one of the weirdest off seasons there is. There's so much questions and so many different moving parts going on with how the season's going to be played. What was it like when you got to school this year, getting to know the freshmen and getting to get to your team activities?
Yeah, it was different. It wasn't like the past 2 years. We couldn't be together, couldn't really bond or have any of those team activities as there were restrictions in place. And then practices were different, lifts were different. We started out in the fall just skating in pods. So it was pods of 7 or 8, 6, 7 or 8. And we stayed with those. We switched up pods a little bit, but it was different. We couldn't really, at the beginning, we weren't really doing any competitive drills, just flow drills. We had some captains practices, and we were able to kind of meet the freshmen. We only have 3 freshmen who came in this year. So we were able to kind of meet them through that. And it was definitely different. The fall was a tough time, just because guys were itching and ready to hopefully maybe compete and play, but we had those restrictions in place where it wasn't necessarily allowed, and we couldn't really be as a full team just yet.
Talk about itching to play. You guys get on the ice for your first game. It's at home against Castleton. You explode on them 6-0. And then a couple days later, 6 days later, 7 days later, you beat them 6-1. Was it just an unreal feeling being able to get onto the ice and get back to doing what you do best?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it honestly felt surreal. I think we were the first team in the East. We saw all the, like, just throughout break and all that, watching all the Division I teams being able to play, going to my brother's games and stuff. I'm like, oh, they're so fortunate that they're able to play. Like, we're kind of getting itched to get back. And then once we get back, we go through all the protocols, practices. We're doing everything right way, and we're able to finally get a game in. And the first game, I think we just came off buzzing right off the bat, and it's just carried over. It's carried over. We're fortunate because Coach Race said we don't necessarily know what the future holds, but we know what we have today, and we know we've got a game. So might as well make the most of it. That it might be, you never know when it might be your last one, like we found out last year.
Where'd your brother play?
He plays, so he's currently a senior at Winchendon, but he's playing NCDC Islanders. So he was down in Tampa at the USPHL bubble. So he's flying back. He's flying back right now, actually. So I was going to skate 3. They were able to play the Kings Advantage and Junior Bruins throw break. So I was probably at like 10 hockey games. And I'm like, man, I was like, you have no idea how fortunate you are that you're able to play. I was like, it's been over like a year since I've been able to play a competitive game.
I've got to assume during the off season, you guys are skating together, training together. Are you like pushing him, trying to get him to push his level of play, get him to a high level?
Yeah, definitely.
D1 school.
Definitely. It's nice that he's an 02, so we're a couple years apart, but as we've gotten older, we've gotten closer, and I push him, he pushes me. But yeah, we did skate together, worked out together all summer, which was nice because I can kind of see him develop and know how his style is, and hope for the best that and I definitely think he'll be able to play at the next level, which is exciting. And I follow along. I've watched all his games down at the bubble on hockey TV, and it's just nice to be able to follow that and just watch him develop and kind of push him, text him, be like, hey, stuff that I noticed, stuff that he noticed about my game. So it's nice that we've got each other's back like that.
02 and 99, so 3 years apart. Just missed each other, huh? Did you guys ever get to play with each other growing up?
No, we didn't. I made like house league when we were really, really young, but we never did end up playing together. Because he went the year I left Winch, he went there as a repeat sophomore. So unfortunately, we were never able to play together. I don't know, though. We might have had some fights together on the ice.
That's so my rookie year juniors, my brother he just finished his age out. He was going to Framingham State, and I was playing in a showcase with the selects team. He was playing as an age out player with his junior team. We played against each other. And it was the first time I shared nights with him. And I was so nervous as a younger brother. So I guess he can be thankful that you guys never had to share nights.
Yeah, exactly. He should be thankful. We never played against each other. Only being like practice and like training over the summer has been the time where we've really been on the ice together.
And so I want to get back to Babson really quickly. We mentioned the atmosphere, the hockey atmosphere. Is it kind of weird this year where obviously with social distancing and stuff like that, you might not see the familiar faces around campus, but you're getting on the ice. We spoke about earlier being the kind of guy that gets pumped up, seeing all the faces when you're ripping around in warm-ups. What's it been like playing in that same rink, but no one's in the stands watching you?
Honestly, this year's been so weird where once we get like, I've noticed, me personally, I haven't even really noticed that fans aren't there, just because I'm so fired up that we're actually able to play, and we're one of the few Division III teams who had really gotten out and played, where it says that's all the fire that we really need, and myself really needs that. It's different for sure that you don't have fans and stuff, but we've been feeding off. Guys have been just giving each other energy. It's been the team. We've all gone through this. It's been a tough time, and there are a lot of sacrifices that we've had to make. So once we get out there, it honestly really hasn't felt that different. We're competing against someone else, and it's just been awesome.
That's unreal. I mean, that's what you got to look for in hockey, and especially during a pandemic, just the fact that you're able to get on the ice. That's. I mean, I'd be fired up right now if I got to put this game on. My gear's been sitting in the storage unit the past 2.5 years.
Yeah, no, we tried to be as optimistic as we could over the fall that we were going to play, but we never really knew what was going to happen and stuff. So once we found out that, hey, this is really happening, we were floored and fired up, and that was all the motivation we needed. I mean, it would be nice to have some people in the stands, but we don't need anyone in the stands firing us up, getting us going anymore this year, because we're doing that ourselves.
And you guys have a game coming up against Plymouth State, right?
We were supposed to this weekend, but unfortunately they have restrictions until Sunday. So we just found out this morning that our games this weekend are canceled against them. We're trying to maybe get another opponent, but if not, I think we play Anna Maria next weekend. So it's unfortunate, but it's just, we're used to it. It's something that you knew was possible this year playing. We had that happen our second weekend. We were supposed to be playing a home and home with Anna Maria. They canceled. So we thought we weren't playing that weekend. And Friday morning, Coach Rice sent us an email and said, hey, we're playing Castleton again on Saturday. So maybe we do end up getting a game this weekend, but for right now, we're off.
That's got to be so weird because obviously at this level, whether it's non-conference games or not, you're watching tape, you're getting ready to play an opponent, and all of a sudden you're switching up, you're playing someone else. You got to do like prep for a whole new roster. And finally, I got one more question. It's the same question everybody gets to end the interview. For the College Hockey Podcast, the goal is one, spread the stories, right? Get the stories flowing. Division III college hockey. I don't think it gets enough recognition as it should. But I also want to get something else out of it, and for schools to be able to show themselves and try and show this to recruits. So if Rice gave you a recruit and said, "Hey, I want you to show him around. I want you to get this kid to come to Babson next year," what are you saying to him? What are you saying to get Babson to stand out?
I'm just kind of telling him stuff that I mentioned in this interview, how great of a program it is, the culture that our program has, just from freshman to senior to alums to recruits. It's just, there's a certain standard that we have here, and it's just so high, top quality. And like I said, it's why we're so successful. And I think just telling a recruit that, kind of just giving him the rundown on what I mentioned before, just how it's been, the culture and the guys playing here, the coaches, coaching staff, the facilities, just the embracement of everyone on campus and the culture and the hockey. Everyone loves the hockey team. It's just something like that. You don't really get it at a Division III level. Our facilities are great. The rink's awesome. Our workout lifts, training coaches, the training staff, they're all great. And like, I could go on and on about this place to a recruit where he probably get annoyed with me, but it's been top notch and everything's top notch. And I would kind of tell him you'd be a fool not to come here.
It's all the things you get with a top tier program. Doesn't matter what level you're at. You're always going to have the best of the best. And that's exactly what you guys are. You're the best of the best. Top 10 team in the country last year. You guys are showing signs of that this year. 4-0 to start the year. Obviously, you said your games this week and got canceled against Plymouth State, but looking from afar, it looks like you guys are going to be doing just fine this year and your senior year next year. So thank you so much for coming on, Ryan. It's been a blast the past 30 minutes, 33 minutes. Thank you. I'm going to let you know when it goes up, and we'll get you posted onto the social media accounts and get it all put out there.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me. This is a blast. I had a blast coming on. I was pumped when I saw your message. So I'll definitely be forwarding this around and sharing the podcast. So thanks for having me.
I appreciate it. See you later, Ryan.
Yeah. See ya.